funny random ass shit. So dude on phone calls, he's like, yo, you got my lunch? And then I'm like, no, lunch? What the hell are you talking about? And then he was like, yo, he told me my exact coordinates and name. And then I asked him how the hell did he know where he was looking for me at? And he said, find my iPhone. And I died laughing. Welcome to the 365 vlog. So hey guys, today is March 6, 2016, day 66 of the 365 vlog. And that's a lot of sixes. Alright, so today was a normal ass day, did some workouts, actually got some art done, marathon shows with the girlfriend, and we watched a movie on Netflix, and that movie was dope. Yeah, you see what I did there. Whew. First of all, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you don't want any spoilers on the movie, which was dope, now I'm actually not trying to make a joke. The movie was called Dope, and it actually was really dope. But there will be spoilers, so from this point on, if you haven't seen it, cut the video off, go watch it, and then come back here. Or just watch it through and enjoy all the spoilers. Now, my girlfriend had been recommending this movie that we watch it, and I was like, sure, I was down to watch it. It looked like a cool movie. I just never got around to actually watching it. And boy, do I wish I actually saw this movie in the movie theaters. This movie was so everything I wanted in a movie that I'm actually really glad I saw it, and it makes me glad that I'm not going to go on this vlog today and complain about all the things that this movie is lacking. Rather, I'm going to talk about all the things that it did wonderfully and that I enjoyed from it. So basically, it's about a bunch of kids and they find dope and they eventually have to sell it. That's the like too long did not read version if you did not watch TLDW. Yeah, but or DNW. Anyways, but so they go on this whole escapade to try and figure out how to sell like the drugs that they accidentally come into like just having. So that in itself is just like crazy, but I think what the movie does is like it really shines on aspects of troubles that people of color have to deal with. Now, I think it took it one step further in the movie by like creating like a dichotomy or like a juxtaposition in lifestyles with the characters, because the characters in themselves are actually not normal or quite different from your stereotypical black movie characters. These characters are smart, well-versed, they're different, they're alternative in their likes, in their fashion, and their whole molding of themselves is very different. That one in itself was just refreshing because I could relate to that character. I feel like many others who maybe are alternative or have an alternative mindset may be able to really link with these characters. So just on that level, like I was really bonding with the characters, and I connected to them far more than any character I think I've connected to in a while. I really connected with the main character. Now, going through the film, like in the beginning, it had like a really playful feel. It was really nice. It was just like about these kids trying to find this person whose drugs it was and trying to give it away to the person who it was supposed to belong to, because it didn't belong to them and they didn't want to sell drugs because they didn't want to go to jail because they wanted to go to college. It was a very positive, forward-thinking message, and a lot of the themes inside of it were really forward and positive, and there were parts of it that just really brought you down, like when you're looking at part of the school system, when he was talking to his counselor about how he was talking down to a student about feeling arrogant. Why is he talking the way he's talking about in his essay and not talking about his life and this and etc. And I feel like that just like spoke to the school system. I'm gonna talk about like I'm sound like some blasé motherfucker talking right now, but all my thoughts are too jumbled to get them out properly, but they're just really there because I'm really excited talking about this movie. But that was just showing the negative impacts, that showing that there could be positive reinforcement in places, but you don't get them because you need to fit a certain stereotype for you to be accepted in the education system, which is he wanted to go to Harvard and he was like, you're not going to go to Harvard talking like this. the movie progressed and it was really funny. It had lots of funny moments between just the interactions of the characters and the dialogue. I really enjoyed it between the characters talking to each other, the situations that they got wrapped up in, and the overall pacing of the movie just really set with me because I felt like I was just watching the movie and felt like I was watching the movie. Of course I was watching the movie, but I was watching it and I really felt engrossed, like time was just going, like there was no time in the movie. It was just me in the moment wanting more from the movie, and it kept giving it to me. And these characters were just so funny, and each of the issues that they hit on, they just kept hitting them one and another. Little small moments, like when they had to meet up with their white friend because they wanted to sell Bitcoin because they needed another way to subvert like selling drugs that wouldn't get connected to them. And I just like talking about the whole N-word, just like how white people can't say the N-word and how they feel like you can say the N-word, I can't say the N-word. And then one of the characters was like, I'm 14% African, that shit killed me. So he's like, I can say the N-word. But they had this whole little like small debacle, but it's small in it itself, but it's a big topic that people like talk about when they're with their white friends, or maybe white people talk about when they're alone to themselves. But nonetheless, that was just one snippet of it going on. Another one was like their perception. It almost like part of the movie felt like watching a little bit of like a Black Breaking Bad with high school students, because a majority of the time they were doing a lot of the stuff in school, which I don't know if it was smart on their part. Whatever, they're not drug dealers, so they don't know how this shit works. But they a lot of times had to do it in school, and they got away with it because they were good kids and they weren't suspected of doing anything like that. I really want to speak on one part that I really enjoyed, which was the smarts that the kids had. In addition to being good kids, they were also smart about a lot of the moves that they made and very careful about like how to do things, because they knew that a lot of what they were doing had big consequences for them because they were because of the color of their skin. And there was one point where they looked for the white friend and they were trying to get him to get them Bitcoin so they didn't get caught. But it was like before that, when they first found the drugs, it was like, oh, let's just return them to the police, which would be okay if they were maybe a different color skin. It would be a little more excusable, like it'd be a noble deed. But because of the color of the skin, they couldn't do that. So they were put in another situation that just made it even harder for them. And thinking through a lot of the processes that they had to do was just really hard. They had to tiptoe around. But I have to give it to the main character, because there was a genius moment where he just pawned the drug lord, I'm gonna call him that, and he just basically put it all on him, all on his plate, giving him his money because they had a conversation. And he did what he was supposed to do, and he was very smart about it and very thoughtful. And that was some crazy thought he put into all of that. I didn't even see that during the whole movie, but they just brought it back in and kind of reminded me of like a heist. So I even enjoyed that part even more. But I just really want to speak to the smarts that came from the kids who were in the situation, and they dealt with it the best that they could. But I feel like it broke a lot of tropes in the fact that they were just being smart about it, and it wasn't in any stereotypical way. It's just because they were smart. And also, there was more themes in it. There's so much more. There was drugs, definitely sex. Oh my god, the main character, I felt so bad for him. He got put in so many situations. I don't even know what he thought he could do with himself half the time, because it was just all the women was just being thrown at him, and it was just random. But none of it really ended up good, except maybe towards the end of the movie. And then the movie really takes a twist after he goes for his interview, which happens to be like the drug kingpin man. And right there, in and of itself, that's where the movie really, I feel like, shifts, because the characters, or the main character, really begins to change, because they don't talk directly, they talk around the subject of drugs because they don't want to like say the word drugs to each other, but they give like these metaphors for whatever they're trying to talk about. And it ends up him having to like talk around things, which just makes it also funny. But eventually the main character has to eventually sell the drugs and go Walter White and figure out like how he's gonna do this. And there's this one moment in the movie that it just became a little bit really real, because at this moment I was already connected to the character, because I felt like him, because I felt like a lot of the choices he made I could see myself making too. Granted, a little bit, some of them were irrational. I thought he was crazy as fuck. But moving on, that some of that one choice after they got the money from the dude with the 2 fake bags, which that in itself was also an interesting thought, that when you have like something, even if it's genuine, depending where you're from and who you are, it doesn't matter where the bag actually came from, because 9 times out of 10, depending where you came from, the bag will be thought as fake, even if you had the receipt inside the bag, which is that just like my mind. But that was, now going back to the point of the original topic, which was when he met up with the dude earlier that tried to steal his shoes, and they came back to jump him again. And at this point, I think he'd already changed. He had already become a different man, or boy, I don't know what to call him actually at this point. I mean, he's about to go to college, but he became a different person, and he stopped messing around, and he pulled out a gun, and he was going to shoot. Well, he wasn't going to shoot, but he pointed it at the boy, and he was going to shoot him. And that's where it just like, I feel like a lot of the tension came like full hold. There was like no games in this moment. Like everybody backed off, and he was just like, please just give me the money. And he wasn't playing any games. And I felt like at that point he had changed a bit on the inside, and he wasn't the same innocent person that he started out in the movie. And that was actually really sad, because of this predicament that he had been in, and his environment had shaped not who he was, but an action that he had to do because of wrong place, wrong time. And that just like, that really like just hurt, because I really hated to see the character in that moment just have to deal with all of that, just because he's been put into such a rough situation. It was really tough. I think that was the most emotional scene out of the movie, at least for me, in my opinion. I really connected with it a lot. That was a tearjerker for me, and I don't cry at movies, so that was really good. Now this cast was like just great because it was diverse, filled with people of color, actors, some that I've never seen before, a lot of rappers in it, but whatever. But there were a lot of these people of color actors, and I was just enjoying that feel in the movie, and it wasn't stereotypical. It just felt like it could be an anybody movie, but I feel like definitely that if you were in that situation, you could really connect to the character on many different levels. Yeah, any of the characters, and there were just little vignettes of interesting characters, like the Dig, I think that's what her name was. She was the lesbian character. She was just really cool. Just throwing her in there just like livened up and freshened up the diversity in the group. I mean, the fact that they liked 90s shit, and they were just like really 90s, granted they weren't born in the time, was just very different. I felt off, and I was born in the 90s, so that shit's just weird to me. I'm like, okay, that's cool though. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed those kind of things out of it. And what was really nice at the end, when he wrote his essay to go to Harvard, and the words that he used, and he threw out everything at the end, and he just wrote his own words. And he said like one of the greatest statements I think out of it was like, if I was white, would you even ask me why I want to go to Harvard? Like, what? That's just like the little cherry on top to all the foundation he put. And it wasn't even that long, but it was very powerful. And oh, okay, now I remember exactly what it was. It was like a compare and contrast of like two different lifestyles of a student that he embodied in himself. And I think that's where the juxtaposition really hit home, when they outlined that and showed the differences, that it's not so clear cut whether you're this way or this way. You're like an amalgamation of your environment, that when you're coming together or bringing all your experiences together, it's not one simple situation, it's many situations wrapped into one, and trying to really break those apart or try and be something you're not, or break the mold. You can't escape what you are. You are who you are, and a product partly of your environment and yourself, because you see that as he was changing throughout the movie, making different choices, even acting differently to the person that he loved. He even got really paranoid at one point to the girl he was talking to, and that really sucked, because I think she really saw something different inside him, and she also started to see the change that I think maybe the viewer started to see as he started to sell dope and really get bogged down into this mindset. Okay, I have to close down this video. I mean, you can leave your comments down below. Yo, I hope you made it to the end of this video. I am like filled with jubilee. I don't know why I use that word, but I'm really ecstatic, happy. I'm just, I'm joyous. That movie really was refreshing and something that I needed, and it really inspired me, and I'm just really great that a movie like that was made in 2015. I'm really disappointed I didn't go and see it when it was in the movie theaters or even buy it on demand, but definitely I'm going to be watching that movie again because I enjoyed it, and I have to just see it again because there's so much to take away from that movie. Whew, this is a long ass vlog. Damn. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie as much as I did. I mean, hit that like button if you enjoyed part of my review, and if any of it was coherent. The fact that you made it this far, maybe you enjoyed it as much as I did or understood what I was trying to say in some parts if it made sense to you. But yeah, I'm Vandal. I make videos every day, so I'll be coming out with another one tomorrow. But you know, guys, keep it. Oh wait, comment. What do you guys think about the movie overall? What's your review on it? What are your thoughts on it? I thought it was great, but you already know that. And yeah, what things do you think I missed or didn't see, or do you have critiques of the movie? I mean, I can't think of them right now because I'm on like cloud nine with this movie, so maybe another run through will give me a better angle to critique it, seeing it the second time. So, but in the comments, I'll be looking out for those critiques if you put them there. Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, I'm Vandal, people. Keep it 365, and I will see you tomorrow or whenever I figure out my scheduling properly. Peace. That was dope. Bye.